Good morning, everybody. I am going to be making Texas Roadhouse copycat recipe for their rolls. And along with that, since we're doing rolls, of course, I'm going to have to do the cinnamon butter as well. So what you're going to need is you're going to need a cup of milk. You're going to need 3 tablespoons of butter. You're going to need 3 tablespoons of honey. You're going to need 3 cups of flour. I use bread flour, but you can use all-purpose flour as well. You're going to need an egg. You're going to need a half a teaspoon of salt, and you're going to need a pack and I don't know, probably about a pack and a fourth of your yeast. But we'll go through that once we get everything kind of going. The milk and the butter and the honey need to be heated up together, and they need to be, I would say, warm but not hot. Now honey, I did want to say something about honey. Honey is the only thing that never goes bad. It looks like it crystallizes, but what you do is you would just put it in some warm water and it turns back to your honey. So honey never goes bad. So if it starts crystallizing in your cabinet, you're like, oh, I gotta throw that out. No, you don't. You can put it into warm water. Just let it sit, your container in hot water, whatever, and it will go back to its natural state. So let me get these heated up and we'll go on to the next step. Okay, so once you have the butter melted and the milk and honey and butter is warm, and again, this is warm versus super hot. Now you're going to add in a pack and a little bit, okay? It's actually 2 1/4 teaspoons, and you're just going to kind of mix this up. It's 2 1/4 teaspoon, but I've been making bread for a while now, so I just know it takes a little bit. It takes a whole pack and then a little bit. So, and excuse how I'm having to do this. I'm in my tiny home, and I don't have a whole lot of space, so I'm kind of trying to figure things out right now. But anyway, so we're going to let this bloom or get foamy. It takes about 10 to 15 minutes. When it's at that stage, I'll come back and we'll add our flour and our salt and our egg into it. Okay, so it's been 10 minutes, and as you can see, the yeast has bloomed or gotten foamy. So at this point, you're going to add in your 3 cups of flour with that half a teaspoon of salt. Now, I used salted butter, which is why I only used a half a teaspoon. But if you use unsalted, put a teaspoon. That just kind of levels it out. And then you're going to add your 1 egg. Okay? Now you're going to get this mixed up. Now if you have one of those stand mixers, this makes this process a lot easier. And I was hoping Santa Claus would bring me one this year, but he didn't. So I have to mix this up by hand. So once I get this nice and mixed, I'm going to knead it for 5 to 10 minutes until it gets to be a sticky ball. So let me get this all mixed up real well, and then I will be back and show you what it should look like. Okay, so once you get it to a consistency where you can take it out of the bowl, again, if you have the stand mixer, it makes this process a lot easier. But you're going to get it, if you don't, and you have to hand knead it, then you're going to put a little flour on your work surface, and then you're going to just knead it. And you're going to need to do this until it becomes a bouncy, not sticky, a bouncy ball. So I'm going to get this kneaded, and then I will be back when I get it to the right texture. Okay, so it's been 6 minutes of hand kneading. Again, if you have one of those machines, it works a whole lot faster. So it bounces back. When it bounces back and not sticks to your hands, then it's ready. So you're going to put it in a bowl with either a little bit of oil. I use butter, but that's just my preference. You can use oil. And you're going to cover this with a tea towel or plastic wrap. Put it where there's no draft, and you're going to let it rise for an hour or until it doubles in size. So once we get to that point, I will be back. Okay, while the bread is finishing rising, it's got about another 15 minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and make the cinnamon sugar whipped butter that they use there. So you're gonna need a half a cup of softened butter, and it needs to be softened, not melted. So you can use salted or unsalted. I always buy salted butter, so I'm using salted. So once you get your butter in there, you're going to do 2 tablespoons of powdered sugar. I always do a little bit heaping, powdered sugar. And then we're going to do, I need a teaspoon of cinnamon. I can't even think straight today. a teaspoon of cinnamon. So we're going to get, and again, I use a heaping teaspoon. Because I wind up using a little bit extra butter, I always just do heaping. Plus, you know, I like it real cinnamony. And then you're gonna do a half a teaspoon of vanilla, or I just do a cap. That's probably about a teaspoon, but I do a cap. So, and then I do a few drops of almond. I pretty much put almond in everything. If you see any of my baking, I don't know why. I just think it adds just that little bit of that bakery smell, and it just really just tastes really good to me. So, and then we're going to do a tablespoon of honey. Now we're going to do a heaping tablespoon of honey. Hold on a second, I need to clean off my tablespoon. Okay, I'm back. So yeah, a heaping tablespoon. And I say a heaping because you're gonna, and I just dropped some on the side. All of the honey is not gonna come out of your spoon. So I usually just do a heaping and then just probably a little bit more. Again, I know this is not following the recipe exactly because I'm not using exact measurements, but you know, once you've made it a couple of times, you'll figure out what's best for you and how much sweetness you like. Do you like extra cinnamon? Do you like more honey? You know, you'll do that kind of stuff. So this is just because I've been doing it a little while, and this is how I make it. So once you get all the ingredients in there and you just put everything together, you're going to get this whipped up. So you can do this on a low speed, and you're just going to do it until it's nice and whipped. So I'm going to get this all whipped up, and when it gets to the right consistency, I will be back. Okay, once it's nice and whipped up, and you can see it got a little bit lighter in color, just put it into a sealable container. Now you can leave this on your cabinet for, I would say, a couple of days, but if you are not going to use it within a few days, I would put it in the refrigerator, and then when you want it, because I've done that and kept it for weeks, and just pulled it out, let it kind of get soft again, and put it on cinnamon rolls, which is, oh my god, so good, or put it on toast, you know, anything like that. So I'm going to get this just set aside, and we're fixing to get the bread finished. Okay, it's been an hour, and as you can see, it has doubled in size. So what you're going to do is you're going to punch it down after that. Okay, and then you're going to take it out. And what you're going to do is you're just going to want to make some dough balls. So just, you can tear you off a piece and just fold it over. You're going to want to get the air out, and then you want to just make a ball. So now once you do, and kind of pinch, if you see where it's not sealed, kind of pinch and just put it in a greased or buttered pan. So I'm gonna get them all rolled out, and then I'll show you what it looks like. We're gonna cover it for 30 minutes. It's got to rise a second time. Then it's gonna go in the oven at 350 for 10 to 12 minutes, or until it's golden brown. Okay, so it usually makes 15 to 16. I made some little bit smaller ones. So once you get your balls rolled out and you got it in your pans, then you're going to cover it back up, and then you're going to let it sit for 30 minutes. Okay, right before it goes in the oven, I'll show you what it looks like. I'm going to go put these in the oven, and I will show y'all when I get back. It is at 350 degrees for 10 to 12 minutes. So that actually took 20 minutes. So once you get it out, you're going to want to go ahead and get it out of the pans so it doesn't continue to cook. To make, when you looking at it to see if it's done, you should be able to thump it, and it should sound hollow. Okay, so once I get it out of the oven, I usually just go ahead and brush it immediately with some melted butter. So I'm going to do that real quick. Now we'll do, look how nice and pretty that is. Then of course I'm going to put my cinnamon butter that I made. So we'll see if it actually tastes like Texas Roadhouse. Oh my god, it is perfect. Y'all. Yes, you can make Texas Roadhouse rolls and cinnamon butter at home and not have to go up there. So, y'all have any questions, let me know. If not, enjoy, y'all. Oh, let me do it this way.